everyone. This is Raquel. It's going to be a very high frequency conversation and activation today. So, just a little indicator of the kind of thing that's going on right now for this particular activation, as we are really in some very intense energies, very intense energies. We just came through the 9/11, and it was the 20th year since the 9/11 situation here in the United States. And it was quite interesting how, as I was out in the morphogenic fields of that particular energy all day yesterday, that the amount of energy that was being placed into reliving that experience for the totality of the nation and beyond. And I just find it quite interesting. We know as we continue to move into higher states of consciousness that it is so important to be in the now moment. We are training ourselves to continue to always be present. And when we go through a situation like yesterday, it's incredibly challenging and a perfect time to stay in our mastery of being able to be in the present moment. This experiment that we have been in called life on this planet tends to want to keep us in the past or the future because it's never in the now. And it is really a way in which it keeps us off our center. It keeps us disconnected. And yesterday was a brilliant example of that, at least here in the US. And I know that this happens across the globe with whatever country you're in. The media will continuously pour over tragedy, pour over events that were devastating. You notice how they don't play over and over and over the good stories, right? The heroic stories. And if it's a hero story, it's always tied to some kind of tragedy. So it's just a way in which society, the way in which the energies of this present day continue to keep us in the past and in a state of fear. And so I deliberately did not do an activation yesterday because I wanted to make sure we were on the other side of this particular doorway so that we could be free and clear on the other side as we continue to bring ourselves into the now moment. And there was a lot that was done in the morphogenic fields yesterday to unravel the distortion around that particular event, which is, again, very much up in the collective energies. So there was much being done to unravel it, unwrite it, disconnect those morphogenic fields that hold that event and everything that went along with it in a state of suspended energy that is constantly bombarding humanity. And so as we continue to go through the disconnection that is happening at the quantum level, as we continue to unravel from the old magnetics. And the old magnetics are what hold those morphogenic fields in place. The old magnetics are the framework that holds all of the distorted templates, all of the morphogenic fields that keep those lower vibrations intact. And even as you look across the way that humanity has always been, There is so much more memorialized that has to do with um, really tragic events. And when they memorialize them, it literally locks it even further into the collective. And I was really, I really haven't watched TV in the news realms for a very, very long time. But I found it quite interesting that the 9/11 memorial was a black cube. And when we talk about energies locking in, a cube is really one of the solid foundations. It's one of the most rigid geometries, if you will, for creating and putting something into the field. And the black cube is just another example of subliminal energies that are locking in really tragic events on this planet. And I'm saying all of this to bring you into a state of awareness that all of these things are purposefully done from a level of keeping us locked down, keeping our consciousness at a very low wavelength. And as we are the forerunners, as we are the way showers for this shift in consciousness, we need to be aware of it so that we can transcend it. So just be really conscious of the fact that there has been the last 48 hours, especially, there has been much work that has been done to, first of all, heighten all the awareness and all the fear around it. But then, right on the other side of that, many have been working to undo those morphogenic fields. And as those magnetics and those morphogenic fields come down, there's an opportunity to release it within your own body structure. Considering the fact that we are all a fractal of the whole, we have that imprint within our fields. And yesterday it was reactivated with all the hype. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, it was definitely reactivated. And so that awareness allows you to consciously go in and disconnect from that morphogenic field, disconnect from that past event as we continue to understand the present moment is all there is. And our mind will connect us back into the past or try to pull us into a future. But our heart is always the pathway into the eternal now. And yes, everything is happening in the quantum simultaneously at the same time. But we are still in a time matrix that views linear time. And the hologram we are existing in, although rapidly moving out of, still operates within the confinement of time. So it is a responsibility to be aware of that and then do your part to disentangle, to disconnect, to unwrite that in your own fields, and really step into a now moment of empowerment and sovereignty, a now moment that brings us into a state of connection with the infinite possibilities that are waiting to be magnetized into our life, waiting to be um, brought in as we continue on this journey of anchoring in the new magnetics. And so, even though it was very, very heightened in the last 48 hours, being on the other side of it, you can unwrite it, you can move beyond it, you can disconnect from that. And as you do so, Again, we are a fractal of the whole. So the more you can hold that awareness and choose to be sovereign, choose to be in the now moment, and disconnect from the mass consciousness that is in fear, and tap into a much higher level of collective consciousness that is bridging the way to higher states of existence, higher states of living, higher states of awareness.